My name is Robert Harrison. I'm 79 years old. Everything you think you know about a successful life is a lie. Last Sunday, my 10-year-old granddaughter asked me one simple question for her school homework. Grandpa, did you live right? I opened my mouth to answer. Nothing came out. For the first time in 79 years, I had no answer. Because in that moment, staring into those innocent eyes, I realized something terrifying. I've spent my entire life living someone else's dream, and now standing at the edge of death, I don't even know who I am. Let me take you back. 1965. I was 18. We lived in a small apartment in San Francisco. I had this tiny attic room with a slanted ceiling. Light poured through the window every afternoon, around 4 o'clock, golden and warm, painting everything in amber. I had a camera, a second-hand Nikon my uncle gave me before he died. It was scratched, dented, but when I looked through that viewfinder, the whole world transformed. I wanted to be a travel photographer, not for money, not for fame. I just wanted to see the world through that lens, to capture moments, to feel alive. I remember my first real photograph, sunset over the Golden Gate Bridge. The sky was on fire orange, bleeding into purple, the bridge like a dark skeleton against the flames. My hands trembled as I pressed the shutter. Click, that sound, that feeling, freedom. For the first time in my life, I knew what I wanted. But that evening changed everything. Dinner time. Our kitchen table was small, wood-worn, smoothed by years of meals. My father sat across from me, still in his work shirt, insurance agent, 23 years at the same company. My mother served meatloaf. The plates clinked, the clock ticked. I told them, Dad, I want to be a photographer. I want to travel. I want to. He didn't even look up from his plate. Art doesn't put food on the table, son. His voice was flat, final. You need a real job, insurance, steady, respectable. That's what men do. They provide. I looked at my mother. She said nothing, just looked down. I talked to Bill Morrison. He'll interview you next week. I opened my mouth to argue. But when I looked at my father's face, tired, worn, dutiful, I saw something that terrified me. Disappointment? Not in my choice. In me. So I said, okay, Dad. 2 words that would cost me my entire life. I thought that's what love meant. Obedience, making them proud. I thought if I followed the path they laid out, I'd earn their approval, and somehow that approval would make me happy. I was wrong, but I didn't know that yet. The years blurred together. I started at Morrison Insurance on Monday, June 14th, 1965. Desk on the 3rd floor, window facing a brick wall, fluorescent lights humming overhead like dying bees. Every morning I put on that tie like a noose. Every morning I walked into that building. Every morning I died a little more. But I was good at it. Excellent, actually. Numbers, policies, contracts, cold calls. I climbed, I succeeded. I became everything my father wanted. Director, vice president, senior vice president. Corner office with a mahogany desk so shiny you could see your reflection. I looked at that reflection every day for 40 years, and I never recognized the man staring back, but everyone else did. Bob Harrison. Now there's a success story. Self-made man, living the American dream. We had the house in the suburbs, white fence, manicured lawn. Margaret, my wife, made it beautiful. 60 years we've been married. She's a good woman, kind, patient. 3 kids, all successful. Doctor, lawyer, engineer. They made us proud. Grandkids now. Emma's the youngest. From the outside, we had everything, the perfect life. But here's what nobody saw. That Nikon camera, I put it in the hall closet after I started work. Told myself it was temporary. Just until I got settled. Just until I saved enough money. It sat there for 40 years. 40 years. Untouched. Gathering dust. Sometimes, late at night when Margaret was asleep, I'd open that closet, just to look at it. The leather strap cracked and dry. The lens cap still on. I'd hold it for a moment, and then I'd put it back. Someday, I'd whisper to myself, when I retire, when the kids are grown, when we've saved enough, when the time is right, Someday, that word became my prison, because someday never came. The years kept moving. I kept climbing. I kept succeeding. I kept disappearing. Every night, I'd lie in bed and think about that photograph. The Golden Gate at sunset. The way the light felt. The way I felt. Alive. When was the last time I felt alive? I couldn't remember. But I told myself it was worth it. The sacrifice, the discipline, the responsibility. This is what men do. This is what love looks like. This is success. We had everything, except me. I was gone. Last Sunday, October afternoon, 2024. The light came through our living room window the same way it used to in that attic room 60 years ago. Golden, warm, but I didn't notice anymore. Margaret was in the kitchen, baking apple pie. The smell filled the house. Cinnamon, butter, sweetness. Emma came over after church, 10 years old. Bright eyes, curious, fearless in the way only children can be. She had her backpack, pink, covered in stickers. "Grandpa, can you help me with homework?" "Of course, sweetheart." She sat next to me on the couch, pulled out a notebook. "A pencil with a chewed eraser?" "My teacher said we have to interview someone old." I laughed. "Well, I certainly qualify." She smiled, then got serious. "I have to ask one question and write down your answer." "Okay, what's the question?" She looked at her notebook. "Read it carefully." "Did you live right?" He's like, the world stopped. I looked at her. She looked at me. Those innocent eyes, waiting. The clock on the wall ticked. Margaret hummed in the kitchen. A car passed outside. Everything kept moving, except me. I opened my mouth. Nothing came out. Emma tilted her head. "Grandpa?" In my mind, I saw everything at once. The office, fluorescent lights, 40 years of meetings, contracts, numbers, that mahogany desk reflecting a stranger's face, the closet, the Nikon, dust, silence, waiting, the Golden Gate, 1965, fire in the sky, the sound of the shutter, click, freedom. Did you live right? Right for who? Right for my father? Yes. Check. I became everything he wanted. Right for society? Yes. Check. Success, respect, provider, responsible. Right for Margaret? Yes. Check. 60 years. Security. Stability. Right for my kids? Yes. Check. College funds? Good schools? Everything they needed. Right for me? Me? Who is me? What did I want? What do I love? What makes me feel alive? I don't know. 79 years old, and I don't know. Grandpa? Emma's voice pulled me back. Her pencil was ready, waiting to write down my answer. The answer everyone expected. Yes, sweetheart. Grandpa lived a wonderful life, but I couldn't say it. Because in that moment, looking at this child with her whole life ahead of her, I couldn't lie. I couldn't tell her that living for everyone else's approval is the right way. I couldn't tell her that burying your dreams is success. I couldn't tell her that someday is a real day, because I've been waiting for someday for 60 years, and it never came. My throat tightened. My eyes burned. Emma, She waited. "I need to think about that question." She nodded, wrote something in her notebook. Then she packed up her backpack and went to find Margaret in the kitchen. I sat there, alone, in a house full of everything, with nothing. For the first time in my life, I had no answer. Because for the first time, I couldn't lie to myself. Emma went home. Margaret went to bed. I sat in my office. Alone. The walls are covered with frames, awards, certificates, plaques, with my name engraved in gold. Outstanding performance. Excellence in leadership. 40 years of dedicated service. I looked at them and really looked at them. They're just paper, metal, glass. They mean nothing. I stood up, walked to the closet, the one I haven't opened in years. My hand shook as I turned the handle. There it was, the Nikon, buried under old coats and boxes. I pulled it out. Dust. So much dust. I wiped it with my sleeve. The leather strap cracked in my hands, the metal cold, the lens cap stuck. But when I held it, It still smells like 1965, like freedom, like the person I was supposed to be. Why did I wait? Why did I believe them when they said this wasn't enough? Why did I think their approval was worth more than my soul? I spent 40 years in an office I hated. For what? A paycheck? I have money now, more than I need. But I never bought my freedom. A big house? We have it. But I never really lived in it. A family? I love them. But they never met the real me. Because I buried him. In 1965, in that closet, under dust and silence, and someday, the photographs I never took, the mountains I never climbed, the sunsets I never saw, the countries I never visited, the life I never lived, all of it gone. And for what? To hear strangers at my retirement party say, "You're an inspiration, Bob." To see my name on a plaque nobody will remember in 10 years. To die with a closet full of awards and a heart full of regret. I'm 79 years old. I can feel it. The end. It's close now. My hands shake. My knees hurt. Time is running out. And I just realized I never lived. I performed. I executed. I succeeded, but I never lived. I ran a race. Fast, hard, discipline, dedication, and I won. But it wasn't my race. It was my father's race. Society's race? Everyone else's race? I don't even know what my race looked like. I stood there in that closet, holding that camera, and I cried. For the first time in 40 years, I cried. Not for what I lost, but for who I lost. Me, the 18-year-old boy who saw fire in the sky and felt alive. He's gone, and I killed him. If you're listening to this, I don't care how old you are, 20, 40, 60. I don't care what people will say. I don't care what your parents expect. I don't care what society demands. Ask yourself Emma's question. Are you living right? Not right for your father, not right for your boss, not right for Instagram, not right for the neighbors, right for you. Who are you when nobody's watching? What makes you feel alive? What would you do if approval didn't matter? Answer it now. Don't wait until you're 79. Don't wait until a child asks you and you have no answer. Don't wait until your hands shake too much to hold your dreams, because time doesn't negotiate. It doesn't care about your excuses. It doesn't wait for someday. Yesterday, I held that Nikon again. My hands shook, but I went outside and I took one photograph. Just one. The sunset over our backyard. It's blurry. Terrible, actually. But it's mine. For the first time in 60 years. Something is mine. It's never too late to meet yourself. Even if you only have one day left. Even if that day is today. So I'll ask you what Emma asked me. Are you living right? Answer it now, before someone else answers it for you. My name is Robert Harrison. I'm 79 years old. And today, for the first time, I lived.